Hello and welcome to A Life of Illusion, a world of confusion. This is As the World Burns.
Epstein killed himself.
He did.
Trust the CIA.
Actually, let's talk about some really crazy shit that's happening right now. Kash Patel was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about how Epstein killed himself, and we should definitely believe him because he's head of the FBI, obviously.
Head of the CIA.
No, he's head of the FBI.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's head of the FBI.
Oh.
So if anybody would know who killed Epstein, it would be Kash Patel. And a few years ago, he was a
He's the
major.
head of the FBI?
He's the head of the FBI, yeah.
That's so sad. Like, the head of the FBI was like a crazy figure. Like, that's like, you should be scared of the head of the FBI.
I mean, I'm pretty scared of the head of the FBI.
But like, Kash Patel seems like such a doofus.
I don't know that, but but Kash Patel, I think we should believe him because he a few years ago was a major conspiracy theorist and railing against the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy. So if anyone would know if Epstein actually did kill himself, it would be Kash Patel. So he said to Joe Rogan's face when he found out about the Elon Musk tweet, and this is where all of this stems from. For anybody that's not in the loop, I mean, you probably have heard about this. This is crazy. There was a tweet that Elon Musk put out where he said that the reason why the Epstein files weren't being released is because the orange guy was in them. And then Kash Patel was literally just like on Joe Rogan's podcast when that happened. Like it had like blown up right when that happened. And Kash Patel was just like, yeah, no, I saw the video of Epstein killing himself and it happened. So it must have happened. He must have killed himself.
He said he saw the video?
He said he saw the video of Epstein killing himself. Yep. But and he said that it happened.
I thought the video didn't exist.
No, it exists apparently. I'm pretty sure that's what he says. Let's watch this real quick. Let's watch this real quick. And let's react to it.
What the absolute fuck?
Well, Kash Patel sounds like a really broken man in this part.
Cool.
All right. But you said you got the gist of that, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear any of the last bit?
I heard none of it, dude. The audio's awful.
Do you hear me at all?
I hear you. It's the video that I didn't hear.
Yeah, the audio for the video was really quiet.
It's alright, dude.
Yeah. So basically, we just we kind of half watched of Kash Patel on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was basically talking about how he was telling Joe Rogan that it was not suspicious at all. It was most likely a suicide. And there's nothing to see here. So just in case anybody's wondering where I stand, I guess I'm going with the government and saying there's nothing to see here.
Never was.
Yep, nope, he was never murdered. It's never been about both sides politically behind the scenes together in a large oligarchy controlling the masses that is really secretly shaping our way of life.
You would even go so far to say that Epstein did nothing wrong.
I would not go so far as to say that. That is not something I would say at fucking all. Epstein was a criminal and should be...
Calling him a criminal is like nice.
You know what?
Yeah.
The fact that it is a suicide disappoints the shit out of me. Because, that guy shouldn't have gotten the easy way out. He should have been, penalized to the fullest extent of the law.
For real?
Even taking out all those other people that he was potentially involved in that allegedly Kash Patel says does not exist and that there's no tapes of anybody and that nothing happened on that island. Allegedly. That's what Kash Patel said on Joe Rogan.
Nothing happened on that island.
That island. Nothing happened on that set of the Virgin Islands. That's really where it happened, was the Virgin Islands. That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, but I digress.
Yeah, but I digress. It's this is not one big conspiracy. People really have to understand that, is that, Jeffrey Epstein really just killed himself with the little tools that he had left in his arsenal. A bed sheet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
His own two hands. And he just...
Jeffrey Epstein was a man that committed tax evasion and hid his money around internationally, and he had a lot of powerful friends, and a lot of people didn't like him. You know,
A lot of people hated him. He didn't have any
a lot of people
connections.
hate. Oh, so you start to do it in a Trump voice. A lot of people hated
A
him,
lot of people hated him.
but he had a lot of connections.
He had a lot of friends. He liked the ladies. Sometimes younger than how the Trumpster likes the ladies, but
Sometimes younger than ladies.
sometimes younger than ladies. Jesus fucking that's fucked up. um Jesus. But yeah, Jeffrey Epstein apparently you know, according to the US government, he committed suicide and he got arrested for he got arrested and was being investigated for sex trafficking, but we can't prove anything because he killed himself. Isn't it crazy how all these people that allegedly like are put into like important situations and have like a lot that, are riding on them, they just end up just killing themselves?
Yeah.
We really should focus hard on figuring out depression and suicide because this is really becoming a problem when all these people are just like offing themselves left and right. Like we have to depression and suicide is a major issue in the United States if all of these people that, are carrying all of this really big and damning potential evidence or not at all. Maybe they don't have any of that and they're just getting arrested for tax evasion and nothing else.
You know?
It's a shame. It's a shame when these people develop suicidal tendencies and they decide to get into that. It sucks because then we'll never really know what happened because Jeffrey Epstein wanted to go and off himself. It's crazy, The FBI director said it himself. He was saying that Jeffrey Epstein's suicide prior to him becoming FBI director was incredibly suspicious. It looked like a murder. That he's been in the system. He knows that type of penitentiary. He knows that there are blind spots and something could happen where somebody could come in, the cameras get cut out for a minute, and then, Jeffrey Epstein gets strangled or whatever by his roommate or something. I don't know. Who knows? It's just amazing to me because that didn't happen. And what actually happened is that he killed himself in 6 feet. It was like he offed himself with a bed frame, like the top bunk of a bed frame where you'd have to drag yourself in order to hang yourself. And I apologize if this episode is triggering for anybody with all the talk of suicide, but I mean, I'm sorry. It's Epstein killed himself. There's no other way to put it. He was not murdered. For anyone who thinks that he was murdered, he apparently was not murdered. The head of the FBI, since becoming the head of the FBI under Trump's POTUS, has come out and said that he was not murdered. And I am with the government.
I am with the government.
I am. I'm putting it down right now. I'm supporting the government in this scenario. Epstein definitely killed himself, and there's no funny business involved. He killed himself with the top bunk. The security guards were asleep, and the footage cut out. Apparently now they're saying that the footage is back and that they have it. Even though they said that the footage accidentally got deleted, they're now saying that the footage does exist and that Kash Patel's seen it. So
what I really think, and this is
do you think there's a lot of contradictions in this story?
I'm just gonna cut right through. I think that if Epstein was a government agent of any kind,
Which he was not.
Connected to the government, well, if any, as in
No, I'm just saying he was not any kind of government agent. He was not.
Okay.
And he didn't kill, and he killed himself.
Well, I'm saying if he was,
okay,
then I can completely imagine them all being complicit, being like, no, he was actually an agent. It's like when somebody's undercover, they have to do fucked up shit, and then they're really just trying to take down these people, and they'll just treat it like, yeah, so the whole world hates you, so we need to make you disappear. They did everything possible to make it so that they could do it. all these things are supposedly major fuck ups that they're never going to answer for. Those all perfectly made it so that it's completely plausible that he's actually still alive.
And he could be, because Kash Patel, I don't think he mentioned seeing Epstein hang himself. He just seen him in his cell, just sitting down on the bed, just sulking, basically, as one would when you're approaching, everything. I don't know. Maybe you're right about this Jeffrey Epstein. He either killed himself or he got away because he was not murdered. There's no other way around it. Did we ever get an autopsy for Epstein? Or did he just get shoved in some crematorium and that was it?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
Whatever it was a bunch of bullshit. Whatever the fuck happened. And yeah, they're getting away with it.
Hey, I trust the United States government's official story, in case anyone is wondering where I stand on this.
Hey, that's okay, man. That's your opinion.
No matter how contradictory it may seem.
Hey, to each their own.
To each their own. I completely trust the CIA's opinion, just so they, are aware of my standpoint.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, so what we've figured out today is that Epstein did kill himself. I like how I keep accidentally saying Epstein didn't kill himself when he in fact did kill himself. I mean, it's clear as day. Yeah, isn't that funny? That's like it's weird.
If I was a psychologist, maybe I could find meaning in that.
If there are any psychologists listening, please try to find meaning in the fact that I keep saying Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, but I really mean Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself when I keep my tongue keeps slipping. I'm sorry to anyone listening for any contradictory statements, because it's not my place to spread any false narratives or make anyone think that Jeffrey Epstein didn't in fact kill himself, when he did in fact, apparently, allegedly, according to the United States government officially right now, he did. And I don't think that opinion is ever going to change, and I don't think anyone is ever going to figure out what exactly happened on that day. And any footage we get, it's not going to show anything, because Jeffrey Epstein apparently killed himself. And again, sorry for this episode being so triggering, but I'm stating a fact.
All right, let me go down the list, right?
Yeah.
And just stop me when I get this wrong. All right. So, Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself, right? Is that correct?
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill him. I mean, I'm sorry. No, he did kill himself.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no. He didn't. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Clear as day. There's no evidence to suggest otherwise. The camera's cut out, so there's no evidence to suggest that he didn't kill himself. There's the guards were asleep, so there's no real witnesses to the fact that he killed himself, but there's no witnesses to the fact that he didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's clear as day Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself.
So that's true. So one, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison.
This whole scenario is basically Schrodinger's kill yourself, because, he neither killed himself nor not killed himself. We don't know if he killed himself or not, and we're never going to know. He's the cat in the scenario.
So you're saying there's a chance? You're saying that there's a chance that he didn't kill himself?
No. I'm saying Kash Patel and the United States government.
Sounds like you're saying.
No. I'm saying I'm never going to be able to know, because I'm not Kash Patel and the United States government. I didn't see what happened that day, so I don't know for a definitive fact, but I trust their opinion because they know.
Yeah.
I mean, Why wouldn't I trust their opinion? They're only going to tell us what will benefit us in the long run.
So, again, just listen.
Yep.
So, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, right?
Yeah. 100% did kill himself. 100%.
Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, and there were a bunch of drones flying around this past year, right?
Yep.
And those drones were looking for a nuclear weapon.
Is that what they were looking for? I know one guy said, from New Jersey, said that there was a chance that was happening.
Yeah, that's hey, you better start believing it.
Well, actually, so
You better start believing it.
here's a real theory about that on the news.
Hold
Well,
on.
hold
I'm
on.
trying. That's the CIA angle. Trying to get you to accept that's the CIA angle.
So I do accept that, and here's why. So this guy came on television, right? And he was talking about I think this was MSNBC at the time, and he was talking about how a train that was leaving, I think, Newark and heading somewhere else, it had like enriched plutonium or something like that on it. And when it got to the destination, it was like pried open and destroyed, and like all the shit was missing inside. So there is a chance that those drones were looking for, like nuclear weapons, like you're suggesting, like some kind of weird like thing. So I do trust the CIA in this scenario.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yep, I'm on their side. 100% CIA, FBI, they are telling us the truth. There's no evidence to suggest otherwise.
But Epstein definitely killed himself.
Epstein 100% in the solitary confinement that he was in, 100% as the cameras went out, as the guards were asleep, as nobody else was in his cell except, yeah, nobody else was supposedly in his cell, right? And yes, nobody snuck in and strangled him and then tied his bed sheet around his limp body and hung it from the bed frame and the top bunk and made it look like a really shitty suicide. What actually happened was it was a very, very shitty done suicide. There's no other explanation that I can think of. It was not a both sides politically were working behind the scenes sort of
So
thing.
Epstein killed himself.
Epstein completely killed
And
himself, and there's
drones were looking for a nuke.
Yep.
And it was just a bunch of drones that were civilian owned and some private and government owned.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right, and that's all.
They were all
And-
FAA approved.
Yep. What else?
What are some other things? The Philadelphia experiment never happened.
Yeah, where's some more truths?
Ghosts aren't real. Remote viewing doesn't exist, and witchcraft doesn't exist. Nobody has psychic abilities that they can secretly channel in an esoteric way, extract knowledge from their sacred practices.
Yeah, I don't know why you would think that.
Spirituality doesn't exist. There is no God. There is no meaning to the universe. And yeah, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There is no satanic cult. Taylor Swift, actually did kill people.
Satanism doesn't exist.
Satanism doesn't exist, but Taylor Swift is a satanic practicing witch. What else? Plants are not intelligent life forms and cannot feel things.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Or perceive things. Yeah. What are some other truths? Let's rattle off some divine truths here. There's no such thing as divine truths. There's no such thing as higher knowledge. Everything that you get in the media is what you get, and you should respect it and keep watching more media and keep devouring it until you physically can't handle any more media, like TV shows and movies. And every movie and TV show that you watch is incredibly surface level, and there's no hidden meaning behind it ever. And if you even feel that there's even a remote hint of symbolism or meaning behind the movie, then you're thinking too deep about everything, and that you should just stop thinking entirely and watch the next movie. And it should maybe be a little bit more toned down.
Yeah.
Herbs and other natural remedies don't exist. They can't heal you in incredible ways and connect you with psychic realms. What else? There's no such thing as secret societies. The Freemasons don't exist. The Skull and Bones Society is just a fraternity, and it doesn't produce real world bad actors or political agents. The World Economic Forum is looking out for you, really, is what they are doing.
As always.
Yeah, exactly. BlackRock's looking out for you. They want you to own nothing and be happy, so they want you to be happy. They just don't want you to own anything because the idea of owning things is incredibly frustrating to a lot of people.
People really are ignoring the part where they said they want you to be happy, you know?
Well, exactly. But they're not even looking. I know I said earlier that you shouldn't look deeply into things, but you should look deeply into the fact that they said that you'll own nothing. Because what they really mean by that is that owning things makes you unhappy, because the prospect of having things, of having material goods, is insane. I mean, and I said earlier that there is no God and religion doesn't exist. Look at some like spiritual teachings. They tell you that you shouldn't have anything. You know, materialistic goods are no good. So maybe BlackRock is speaking from a spiritual perspective, and they want you to own nothing and not be materialistic and then be happy because of it, because you'll reach like nirvana or some kind of like ascendance.
Yeah, we'll become bodhisattvas.
Exactly. So, like, you know, BlackRock gets it. They're looking out for you. Just remember that. BlackRock wants your best interest at heart. What's another good one?
BlackRock is actually the Black Rock that's within Mecca.
Yes, that's why they're looking out for you, and they're teaching you the spiritual things that you should get.
Now we're just doing something else, honestly.
Yeah, but let's keep going. Let's see. There's no mind control in TV. We kind of already did that one, but like, you know, you should always listen to the news. And if they say you should panic, then you should panic. If they say you shouldn't panic, then you don't panic at all, you know? But you should always listen to the news, even if the news contradicts each other. You should always listen to the news. You should always listen to everybody talking, Fox News especially. They know their shit on Fox News. Everybody on Fox and CNN and MSNBC, you should listen to all of them all at once, speaking at one time about the same thing. That's the only way to really gather the right image of what's going on in the world. And if they say you should panic, you should panic. And if one says you shouldn't panic, you should almost have like a split personality down the middle where half of your brain wants to panic and the other half wants to remain calm because you're watching two different things.
You should all give up your firstborn child.
That's a good one. You should all give up your firstborn child to the government.
That would really help.
Yeah, if you don't have a firstborn child, you should give yourself to the government. That's the only way.
Also, you should all trust the government to raise your children for you.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's why public schools are important, and why whoever's running the country should influence the public education system, no matter how contradictory it would be if we were to pull in two different directions.
It's kind of impossible to even like raise a child, but at the same time, it's our duty to continue to procreate. And it's okay if we can't afford to raise our children and take care of them ourselves. Like, that's what the government is here for.
Exactly. We're training them to be a part of the government.
Yeah.
So one day they can join either the bureaucracy or the army, and they can be a well-rounded version of society. You know, they can join some kind of like law or, you know, do something important, like be a politician.
Yeah.
Yep. As long as they're not a Democrat. Anyways, what are some other truths out there?
Some hard to swallow pills that you just need to start to accept.
Yep.
And like grow up, wake up.
Inflation is incredibly overinflated of a thing, and it really in reality does not actually exist, and there's no bubble, and you should not worry. If anything, you should be buying more into the economy, because that's just how the economy runs. Is you should be taking all of your money and putting it directly into the economy. You should barely even be saving anything, because what it does is the stock market always benefits you, and anytime that you buy things, that benefits the stock market. Therefore, if the stock market's doing really good because you are constantly buying things, that means that you are doing really good, and you are constantly owning things. And I know that they say, you know, own nothing and be happy, but, you know, own as much as you can while you can. Because as soon as, you know, you decide that the stock market tanks and you're still buying everything, you're probably going to want to have things again.
Yeah. Also, it's probably best if you don't go outside as much, unless like you're going to work, because that's like really necessary to keep the economy going.
Yeah, don't go in
And
nature. Totally unnecessary.
yeah, it's honestly dangerous.
Yeah.
A lot of people go missing in the woods, and you don't want no part of that.
Remember we talked about the New England serial killer, the woods and the rivers. You got to stay away from the woods and the rivers and Taylor Swift, and this all still applies. Taylor Swift is still a witchy serial killer, but also you should stay away from the woods and the rivers. There's no sense in even going out there. Like, you're going to end up missing or on a 411 case. Or better yet, you survive and then look what happens. You get some kind of scratch or bump or scrape and, it gets infected with some kind of flesh-eating virus, or you get Lyme disease from some kind of wood tick. Back to psychic abilities. Crystals are bullshit and you should not touch a crystal. It does not do anything psychically for you. It does not channel your energy. And you shouldn't.
They actually come out of the ground, and they're usually covered in dirt, so they're actually covered in germs. They're actually really gross.
Yes. Stay away from them. Remember we talked about the flesh-eating viruses you can get in the woods? Same thing from crystals. You can get flesh-eating viruses.
Yeah.
Even though they're not alive, they would probably have bacteria more than anything. You can still get flesh-eating viruses from them.
I was going to say, we really need to stop bothering celebrities and powerful people.
Yes.
Their lives are not our business.
We should worship them more, though. We should let their lives influence our lives, but we shouldn't bother them about it. We should let them be godly. You know what I mean?
Given,
We should put them on a pedestal is what I'm saying.
We should.
We should make sure that they feel really comfortable on that pedestal and that we are basically bowing to them.
Yeah.
What else?
Honestly, without them, like we'd be lost.
We would. Without,
we wouldn't even know where to go. We'd probably become lost. We'd probably go astray from.
Yeah, we'd be Lord of the Flies without mainstream media.
A good plan. And it's probably good that they have their hands around our metaphorical leash, guiding us and keeping us safe.
Oh, all the time. That's what really is what it's all about, is maintaining control of us and us staying in line.
Yeah.
Yep. And we should always stay in line.
I personally would prefer a hand around the leash versus, a hand around the whip. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Cool. Let's try to
Yeah.
I'm trying to have an okay rest of my day, rest of my year.
An okay rest.
We don't need to make a fuss.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're all just trying to live here. Even if it's with a leash around our necks, we can take that. It's better than getting a whip on your back. Oh yeah, going back to crystals and everything, they do not channel psychic energy. That's all bullshit,
Yeah, even if they channeled or had some sort of energy coming out of them or from them, how do you know that that's even safe for you?
Well, exactly. How would you know that you should even be handling that kind of energy? You should leave that kind of stuff to the government.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. The only kind of rocks you should be handling are granite,
Yeah.
Or coal.
Yeah.
Lithium.
Art is bullshit. There's no such thing as good art, and most of it is a waste of time, and there's no symbolism behind it. I kind of said that with movies, but I'm saying that about all art. You should never look into any art, and you should never let it influence any ideas that you may have. If your ideas are even too, out there, if they are too outside of the box, if they even tiptoe even next to the edge of the box, you should not be thinking. You should kind of stuff that down with some brown, as they say. You know what I mean? Start drinking alcohol.
Alcohol's good.
It is. Yeah, you should drink alcohol. You should smoke cigarettes, not for health reasons, but for stress reasons. You should not do anything else for stress reasons. Well, other than buying store-bought things, you should not have a garden. You should always buy store-bought because you want to always push the economy further and always make the economy better. We never want a crashed economy. If the economy crashes, it's your fault.
So This is a real take I heard on a cooking show.
Yep.
Let's peel back the veil a minute. This is something I really heard from a real chef.
Mhm.
I believe I forgot what country they were from. It was an international show. And they were like the flavors. They were talking about food that you could get at like a 7-Eleven or something.
Yep.
And what they said was that the flavors that you can get from that are like, we need to trust it because like scientists made these flavors.
Yeah, of course.
So like they know better than anybody what something good tastes like.
Yeah, remember we were talking. I think this was off the pod, or maybe it was something we randomly talked about on it. I don't remember, but I remember we were talking about that book, Salt, Sugar, Fat, which nobody should read that book. It's complete and utter nonsense.
It's drivel.
It's total drivel. But what they basically describe in that book is the idea that like corporations like Kellogg's and like all of these like, different corporations and people and groups, they genetically engineer basically these foods, or they in a lab create these certain mixtures of salt, sugar, and fat, like these ratios that would complement each other and basically lead them to be more addictive. Now, you might ask yourself, why would these corporations do that? And the big picture here is that they're looking out for you and they want you to be happier. They want you to taste better things, and they don't want you to eat that boring old drivel that you can get from a garden or from a tree that's fresh and has natural sugars and starches and yada, yada, yada. They want you to eat their genetically engineered food, which is better because it's made in a lab. That's why all drugs.
Yeah, like the amount of care that went into that, honestly.
Well, exactly.
The amount of thought that went into it.
It's all math. It's all,
We can't really fathom.
It's pure calculations designed to make you happier. So you should always trust what makes you happier in the short term, because it will make you happier in the long term. Clearly, obviously. You know what I mean? Always buy fast food because you have no time to cook at home. But if you do cook at home, always buy your food. You know what I mean? Don't go and garden. That's just a waste of time. You're not going to get anything other than diseases and bacteria and problems from gardening. If you even are able to attempt to garden, I mean, it's such a difficult thing to get into, to just take a seed and throw it in the ground and start watering it and letting it prosper. You really have to put a lot of thought into that.
Honestly, like, all in all you really need to start to accept is, like, we really need to accept that gardening isn't godly.
Yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head with that.
Because godliness is cleanliness, and gardening is not very clean.
Remember, there is no God other than the state-sponsored religion, whatever that is. So whatever the state-sponsored religion is what is, currently the thing.
Yeah.
And if they say that there is no God, then there really is just no God. Just listen to your government on whatever is happening. If they tell you should go to church.
Yeah, they're the ones really looking into it. They're the ones closest to God.
Well, exactly.
So they should know.
Exactly. They've sent rockets to outer space. Where do you think God is? Outer space, obviously.
All truth and trust goeth into the eye of providence.
Yeah, always. You should always trust the eye of providence, but you should never look into what any of that means. You should just worship the almighty dollar. That's actually what this is all about, is you really should just worship the almighty dollar. Make money.
Cash rule everything around me.
Yes, exactly. Cream get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, they striked again. They're telling you exactly what you need to hear. They're telling you you need to make money. They're telling you you need to breed. That's all it's all about. Just buy, sell, improve the economy. People always talk about like self-improvement, and really that does not benefit the economy. That does not benefit the government. That doesn't benefit anybody. So why would we do that?
You can't spell selfish without self. So why are you going to try to work on yourself?
Well, exactly. It makes no sense, really. Yeah, really. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it's true.
People need to grow up.
Yeah, people really need to grow up. Why are they working on themselves? you should never go to therapy. You should just be a man and tough it out. I mean, therapy doesn't even, it shouldn't even exist. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's brought on by a bunch of assholes who don't know anything, who clearly are just guessing what's in your head before you even are telling them. They're already diagnosing you the moment that you walk in the room.
Another thing is that how do you really know you can trust your family?
Well, no, you can't. You can only really trust the government.
How long is how long has your family been a family, and how long has the government existed?
Well, the government's existed longer than my family has existed. My family came together through different families operating on different wavelengths. But the United States,
This is what I'm talking about.
exactly. The United States government instead came together one time 300 years ago or whatever it is, and they decided, or 250 years ago, whatever, and they decided, hey, you know what? We're going to rule everything, and we're going to all be one big family. And you know what? 250 years of one big family is much better than like 2 or 3 generations of a small family that, eventually just drifts apart and becomes a part of the government in general anyways. Yeah, you should not stick with your family. You should always spread your connections to better society, and always never yourself, but always the economy. And when I say society, I mean the economy. I don't mean society as in like the community, because the community is a bunch of bullshit unless we're talking about the United States government. That's the only real community that you should be a part of.
Community sounds like communism.
Exactly. We don't want communism here. We only want democracy. This is a democracy. The people that get voted into power are the ones who belong in power. That's why this is a democracy. Because we elect them into power fairly. There's never any shortcuts for anybody in politics. Politics is a rough game, and it takes a really, really strong individual to attain that level of political status. If they even rise to that moment, they are godly in the eyes of mortal men, and they should be worshipped as such, obviously. Playing instruments is for children. Music is for children. And if you still listen to music when you're older...
No, actually, music is really important, and it's really fun. And try not to think about it too much.
Well, yes, but the music that's fun and important is anything that's played on the radio. You have to listen to what's played on the radio, and you have to...
That's the only thing worth your time, really.
Exactly. Why is it on the radio? Because it's worth your time, not because they're trying to stuff it down your throat and get you addicted to the ads and the music. It's not, actually it is. It's kind of the same idea as the food. A lot of this music that's played on the radio is kind of like created in a lab, so to speak. And it's meant to like hit certain notes that trigger you.
So to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. It's meant to like hit certain notes psychologically that attract you in a certain kind of way, so that you can basically like get brainwashed into loving this music even more, or thinking about it even more. A good example of this is that anxiety song. We were talking about that. About my anxiety, or whatever, that stupid song that just keeps playing everywhere.
That song's great.
It is. It's exactly what we need for society.
Society.
Yeah, it's my anxiety. You should be listening to more songs like that are just, approaching your anxiety and not delving deeper into why you actually have anxiety or where it comes from. You should just approach the fact that you have anxiety in general, and you should not do anything about it other than complain about the fact that you have anxiety. You shouldn't see anybody or talk to anybody about it, definitely, right? I mean, you should just stuff it down with some brown. Remember, you should always drink and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and caffeine and energy drinks and candy and sugar and all the shit designed in a lab. You should go for it. Remember, you only live once. YOLO. Remember what Drake said. That's the motto. That's the YOLO. You really only live once, so why not just go for it?
You really only live once. Like, there's no reincarnation, so just give up.
So just give up. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else. Just enjoy it while you can, because beyond this, that's the end of the journey. It's my anxiety. Oh my God. Yeah, this is it. So just stay comfortable for the rest of your life and always be secure in where you are at in life. That's all that should matter, is that you're secure and happy, and that, potentially you own nothing, but at the same time you're constantly buying things in order to put money back into the economy, because that's what really matters at the end of the day, is that the big family in the United States, it continues to run as is, business as usual is what they call it. That is what we should be focused on, is progressing this machine, just pushing it as far as it can go. We live in a capitalistic society that we should really just, we should take advantage of that fact. We can buy anything, we can do everything that we want. You should just, have solace in the fact that you have that freedom, but you shouldn't take advantage of that freedom, because that right there means that you won't be secure. You'll just put yourself at risk. So you should never take any risks, but always enjoy the fact that you have the freedom to take those risks that you will never actually do. And you shouldn't do, but you have the freedom to do.